Welcome to Doc's Daily Dose, prescribed by Dr. Harrison. I'm sure you're aware of what's been going on and what's happened. But what I wanted to talk about today was the notion of service and giving to others and how it comes back tenfold. Wow, this is really I have to get used to this because normally I would have my camera and I'd be looking directly into the red light. And now that I can see myself, I want to look here because I can see my hand movements and all. But I got to remember I'm talking to you, so I got to look there. Anyways, I've been doing a lot with respect to Doc's Daily Dose, with respect to retreats, workshops, talks, just being involved in one-on-one helping people, offering opportunity for people to get help with anything they wanted, just giving people an opportunity to reach out to me, and a few did. And I've just really been trying to focus on being of service to people. I think back to all the shit that I was involved in as a young kid or high school kid or college, and how many people were of service to me and my family. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be, quite frankly. But I'm here. And a huge part of that is because of those people. And sometimes when you provide service to others, whether you're teaching, you're coaching, you're doing fundraisers or charitable work, it can get lonely and it can also feel sometimes like it's not appreciated. And maybe not so much that it's not appreciated and that people don't say thank you, and that, teachers don't make a ton of money. Unless you're a big time coach, you're not making a ton of money, especially at a small local private school. I mean, you're not making anything you can survive and make a living on, right? And teachers, we know what teachers deal with in terms of salaries here in America and budget cuts and everything else. So you can feel underappreciated or undervalued, but you have this drive of providing service for other people, helping other people, teaching, coaching other people. And I'm here today to tell you it's worth it, not just for what you're doing for other folks, but you see the community rally around in times of need. And sometimes it's hard to take a step back and see that big picture wise. And sometimes it'll smack you right in the face, just like it did with me. Now, since my garage has burned down, 2 nights ago, with all of my stuff, it wasn't just my podcast and webcast equipment. It was all of my leisure items. It was also all of my office and work stuff and personal mementos, everything. The last couple of days I've been looking I'm gonna go put this up, and nope, can't put it in there. Oh, where's my that's gone, right? But since that's happened, I've had people I haven't talked to in a while reach out and check on me. I've had someone who's a good friend of mine, former college teammate and friend, Mr. Nino, who's working up at the college now, reach out and say, hey, here's a survey or a questionnaire or a form you can fill out if you lost any of your Grinnell stuff in order to try to retrieve some of that back. Right now, some of that stuff, is stuff that the college won't have. That's my own personal memorabilia stuff. They just won't have it. But my Honor G blanket for being a 4-year starter letterman, my college diploma. And so I got the form, I saw it, and I was, getting ready to fill it out. And then I saw, oh, wow, I have to pay for this stuff. I just lost 10 grand worth of stuff. That's not really a priority. And then within 15 minutes, I get an email saying Office of Alumni Relations is going to take care of it. Thank you, Grinnell. Thank you, Nino. Thank you, Nino's wife. Thank you, Office of Alumni Relations. I'm super grateful. Like I said, I got a call from people and text just saying, I got your back. We support you. Anything you and your family need. Which was fun because there were some people I hadn't connected with in a long time. And just hearing their voice and talking to them as friends and good friends of mine. I got a call from someone who's a really good friend of mine saying, hey, I know how much you invested and put into that and was moving forward with that. And I also know you just quit teaching and this is kind of a setback. Do you need some work? Which I'm super grateful for with respect to my family, right? Yeah, I might need a little bit extra stuff to get by and help things, ends meet right now. And then as I was sitting there at my dinner table, going over plans of what I'm going to do next, how do I handle this? Well, my warranty on this stuff, does a fire cover it? And of course, I didn't have renter's insurance, with all the other shit that we got to afford these days. Who can afford that? But kind of learned my lesson there. And then I get a knock at the door. And I go, and it's a guy, an Amazon delivery guy. I was like, I didn't order anything, but it's to me. And inside there was a gift card from 3 families. I won't mention their names because I don't know if they want to be kept anonymous. I didn't ask their permission to talk about this. I don't even know if they want to put out there like that. But for them to put together, regardless of what the amount, how large, how small, how medium, doesn't even matter. If that's what you're asking, you're wondering, well, how much was it? Doesn't matter. For them to find out what was going on, come together as a team and lead this drive to collect some funds to help me kind of get moving and back on my feet with stuff. And to do it and have it ordered and delivered the same day with a little note in there talking about what I do for them and their boys and how much that means to them and how they wanted to return the favor to help out with some of my stress. Speechless. Well, not really speechless. As you can tell, I can talk about anything. But in that moment, I didn't have anything to say. I just sat there at the dinner table in disbelief. It wasn't that I couldn't believe people would be kind. It was more so that I never asked for help. And people rallied around a situation where they saw I could use some help. And what I did for their family or their kids was something that I love to do. That's something a part of my everyday world. And I never really am sure the type of impact I have on people. And that impact I had on those 3 specific kids and their families made me feel reassured about what I love to do, who I am, what I do, and the impact and the influence I make on some people. It really warmed my heart. I was super thankful, super grateful, and appreciative because they didn't have to do that. They really didn't. And I reached out to every single one of them and then sent an email to all of them. Got to see one in person today and gave her a hug. It meant a lot to me. Not the actual funds, the gesture. The recognition of how much I love their boys the way they love their boys as their own children. And in some of the email responses and the face-to-face today, it was, that's what family's about. That's what community's about. And that's what we preach to our football players all the time. Family, communication, community, love each other. And I got to see that played out towards me when we shared to the boys. It got flipped around in a time of need for myself and my family. So to everyone who's sent anything, said anything, showed support, provided nice gestures, I'm eternally grateful. And even before that, if you ever needed anything, and I'm saying it again now, don't ever hesitate to reach out. And if you're someone who's providing service for others in any kind of form, understand the impact you have. Doesn't matter what that service is. You may have so much influence that that person or those people around you look to you for some of the most pivotal moments in their life. Whether it be the janitor or maintenance guy in my high school who quite frankly hated me when I first got to school there, but then loved me by the time I graduated, he looked out for me. I always had such high regard and respect for him. When I was working there, the security guard, and even now where I'm working now, the folks around me, they influence me, my children, every single day. And sometimes it's hard to continue to provide that service when you got your own life and own things going on. But it always comes back to you tenfold in some way, some manner. Sometimes you can't see it. And when you don't see it and something drastic like what happens to my home, it smacks you in the face, the amount of influence and impact you've had, because the love is returned. The love is returned tenfold. And it makes you stop and think about how much love was already being shown to you that you just didn't see. So I'm going to pay attention to that, because it's obvious that I've made an impact, but I haven't been quite paying attention to the level of impact or influence or love I've been showing and getting back in return. And I need to be aware of that without it being a phone call, a text message, a gift, a gesture. I need to be aware of it in everyday stuff like a smile, a wave, a hello, a handshake, or a hug. And you should too, especially if you're providing service. All right, that's Doc's Daily Dose. Don't forget to subscribe to Doc's Daily Dose. I keep messing up because I have the Doc's Daily Dose for dads, and I made 102 videos with that. Like, I'm getting used to this Doc's Daily Dose, right? So let's try that again. That's it for Doc's Daily Dose. Don't forget to hashtag Doc's Daily Dose, hashtag 3D. Messed it up again there, right? Hashtag 3D. All social media at RebirthBX. Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Play Music for the audio podcast version of this. YouTube, Doc's Daily Dose. It still says Doc's Daily Dose for dads as of right now. We're working on it. But subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit up my website, rebirthbx.com, which is going to be under total construction as I tell you some of the new ventures we're working on. Email me at aharrison@rebirthbx.com, and I'll get back to you guys tomorrow.